Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lili and Friends podcast. This is our first episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. With me, I have a very special guest, my very good friend. We work together. We've been hanging out for God knows how long, and we just like to hang out with each other. It's so much fun. She has a couple of kids hanging out with her house. So we'll have some fun stories about that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lynn Andrew. Welcome.
Hey.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going. I'm multitask while I talk with you.
Yay. Alrighty. So I have a couple of questions just to start with. I know this is hard times right now, and we'll have to talk about a little bit about the quarantine and stuff, but how does this pandemic affected your normal life?
Oh, a lot. I used to spend more time outside of the house than in the house. So
yeah.
I had to pull from my early childhood education career to start pulling out some activities to do, since my partner's son is 4.5 and I also have a 12-year-old and now a newborn. So science and art has become our best friend.
Yeah, that's crazy, because now you have to dig into, stuff that you have done in your school years, and, maybe even read a book or two, just so it kind of reminds you of what great stuff there is out there to do with kids, right?
Yeah, good thing I was a preschool teacher hoarder, so I have everything I ever used.
Right. How is it with a preteen as well in the house?
Oh, she's my saving grace a lot of times. You know her, she's easy. So she's adjusted to the whole school online thing, and definitely has learned to enjoy video games a little bit more than I ever let her. But it also brought us together too, because we go walking every day, and sadly now the whole world will know that I Pokemon. You shut up. But but I mean it's always been easy with her preteen bitchy-tude.
Yeah. Well, teenagers are hard for sure. As you know, I have a sister. She's 10 years younger than me, and she's out of her teenage years, but she's still a pain in the ass for sure.
I mean, did he ever just not be a pain in the ass? I don't know.
Exactly. No, but it's good because it keeps us alive too. It just brings the child in us as well. We have to be like, oh, okay, when was I her age? I used to be kind of like this, not as bad, but probably kind of the same thing. I wasn't as bad as my sister is, but at least I don't think I was.
I laugh. Who was I talking to? I bet what it was like when you were 14, when you were 12, when you were 8. You forget how things feel, or things that you said and did, or the way you behaved and stuff. And I laughed because I was 100 times worse.
What's on the background? What's going on there?
Oh, that's her playing with the baby, so I can talk to you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a sad attempt at opera meets I don't even know what. She's making funny sounds.
Well, as long as she's entertained.
Oh no, I'm sorry, I take it back. She's singing what's that movie with the two sisters? The cartoon?
Oh, the Frozen?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's great. That's on repeat.
So funny though. Anyways, you mentioned about you're doing science projects at home with a 4-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of projects do you do? Can you share like some tips for other moms to use as well?
Oh, Well, I'm lucky because Parker told me many years ago 100 ways to do science in a bottle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I mean, Pinterest and what's that website? It's like perpetualpreschool.com, I think it's called.
Mm,
Um, anyways, they always have different science projects. So we've been doing, what did we do? We did the baking soda and vinegar to blow up a balloon. We did
nice.
Mentos in a Pepsi bottle, and it exploded. It was awesome. I took a video of it, and I did it in slow motion. So it's great because you can see how high it explodes. And my partner put a car tube so you could drop the Mentos all at once.
Oh,
And
wow.
it shot straight up through the tube and just like fountained at the top, and it was awesome. What else have we done? Oh, we did where you fill up a bottle and you puncture a hole, and it shows when you add oxygen, the pressure
Mm,
and the water leaks, but then when you close it off and you cut the oxygen off, it stays. So even though there's a hole,
right.
the water leaks. What else have we done? I don't know. We've made volcanoes. We've done oh, the color napkin trick, where
Mm.
you use markers and you color a napkin and you dip it in water and you watch the colors grow up the napkin and fall into the water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I might
So,
have
and
to
then
do that.
I don't even know. Then today we did some thing with, I don't even know what you would call it. It's almost like that fake snow stuff that you make. Do you
Mm,
remember when we used to work at the preschool and
yeah,
we would get snow stuff? And it's almost like cold jelly
right.
that like crumbles. So it
Mm-hmm.
was kind of like that, but it was scented. You know, it's supposed to smell like cherries, smells like strawberries. You know how it goes.
Oh, wow. That's nice. No, that's fun for the 4-year-old for sure. And I bet like even if the baby's watches it, he's like, whoa, what's going on here?
Oh yeah, likes watching it.
Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. Do you wanna share a little bit of your story? Like, where you came from and like how was to have the first child? Like how old were you and what were you expecting? Like, becoming a first mom, like first, you know, like your encounter with the baby and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, lucky for me, I had early childhood under my belt, so it wasn't as scary as it might be for some. But it also kind of came naturally. Like I never wanted kids. I wandered, I traveled, I moved all over the place. I was in Colorado, and I actually got a job uh, teaching yoga to preschoolers
Oh,
in
well.
Boston. So I was getting ready to leave Colorado and to go to Boston,
Mm-hmm.
and I found out that I was pregnant. So then along came her. Woo,
Yeah.
check me out. I caught myself. You have to bleep twice.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was over it. The dad was, abusive and nasty, and I told him if he didn't quit it, I was out, and he didn't stop. He made threats. He was awful. So I packed up a rental car at like 11:45 at night, and I drove from Colorado to California, and I made it in just under 14 hours. I was proud of myself. I took
Wow.
on the side of the road in Moab. But anyways, then I easy breezy pregnancy, never felt anything, worked all the way through. She was 2 weeks late. I walked until my water broke, and she was out on the second push, and she was easy peasy all the way through. Never had any issues with like teething or gross poopy diaper, out of the diaper, smells like shit. Never had any of that. Never had to like worry about her touching sharp things or sticking her finger in a light socket or touching hot stuff. She was easy. I was blessed with a kid that I could handle at 28.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Huh. So, and then I had Will at 35. I was considered aged, and he was adopted by an amazing family that we're all close. And then now I have this one. He's fat and round and wonderful. He's got a big voice and just very inquisitive, and he's fun. So, but he's pretty easy too. I mean, he drools a lot.
Yeah.
Because his teeth are cutting in, and he spits up every now and then, which is gross. It's like the size of Texas. But other than that, he's easy. Sleeps through the night, eats food, drinks water. Yeah.
That's
You
good.
said,
And he's only 7 months, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's
Yep.
the most challenging thing that you encountered when you had your first daughter?
Oh, I mean, nothing. It was so easy breezy. Like I had her, and then I went back to work, when she was 8 weeks old, and
Mm-hmm.
I lucked out. She ended up in really good care, and she was in an in-home daycare until she was 5. But the woman who ran the daycare ran it like a little school, and she used to work for kinder care. So she
Mm,
kind of incorporated a bit of kinder care into the way she ran her daycare. But but I loved it, and it was a safe place,
yeah.
and so yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, she was easy. Life was easy. It was just easy. We traveled all the time. We moved every 12 months. We bounced all over the country. Just I wanted her to, well, and selfishly, I wanted to see different parts and meet different people and live in different areas and
Mm-hmm.
just experience stuff before I ever had to plant my feet, which I never actually thought I would do, but here I am.
Yeah, we never think that far, but yeah, sometimes we have to actually settle down at some point. Um, you did
Boring.
mention, sorry, what?
I said boring.
um, you did mention that your second child was adopted by a really good family, and I've actually met the family, and you guys are very close, and we're friends, so I really follow your life pretty vividly, and I'm there and stuff, so I've seen you guys interact. But how was it for you to just to get to the point that you be like, no, I can't really take care of the child, and somebody else has to do that for me?
Mm, I knew I was pregnant before I even took a test. And then my first initial feeling was that he was meant for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave it a go with dad. He said he wanted to have the baby and raise the baby together and this and that. So I gave him a chance, but he was never going to get a job. He was never going to grow up. He was never going to be good. And I told him, like, if you're not going to do this, like, I am not going to have, our child suffer. And for me, it was, I would have to sacrifice a whole lot of my daughter in order to raise, my son. And he would also have to have a lot of sacrifice too. And that's not what was best for him. And like I said, I mean, from the get-go, I always felt like he was meant for someone else. And so I went through the adoption agency. I did a lot of research. I did a lot of talking, a lot of questions. And they gave me a fat stack of folders. So like these families put together folders that have all this information and photos and stuff. I never looked at any of them. I never felt like, anyways, I got another stack, and there was just one that I kind of felt drawn to. And I looked at it. And as soon as I looked at their picture, I just had this overwhelming sense that I needed to open the folder. And I did. And I read everything. And it was everything I could have ever wanted for him
Mm-hmm.
and more, So then I met them in person, and there's just no doubt. And so they hung through the rest of the pregnancy, and I kept them up to date with everything that's going on. I got gestational diabetes. So, I was on a very strict diet and medication and stuff like that. And he came early and he was fat and happy, but he ingested fluid on his way out. And so he was in the NICU for a few days. But they were there in the room until I gave birth, and they stepped out. And then I said they asked me to do the skin to skin. And I was like, no, I want his mom to do that. And then I don't know. That was it. I went home from the hospital. We met him, and then I went home, and after that, it was just relationship building and getting to be a part of his growing up. And he just turned 5.
Yeah.
Believe it.
I know. He has the same birthday as my child.
So technically, there is a 12-year-old, 5-year-old, and a 7-month-old.
Right.
Holy shit.
Oh, I know. But I think your story is fascinating because you were also adopted
Yes.
from a family here in California, because your parents are not Californians, right? And so
no, my mom is. My
mom okay.
And my dad.
Okay, sorry about that. But basically, like, you were also like that, but because you have this history, and that's why I wanted to start with you, because I think your story is so fascinating to other people, even because there's also moms out there and parents out there, they feel like, oh, maybe I don't feel like I don't want to do an abortion, but I also cannot take care of my child. And some people just keep the child just because they feel bad, but then at the end they don't take care of them. They can't take care of them. They don't have the support and the money even to do so. And I think opening up the podcast with you, it's great because of your story. And like, obviously it must have been hard going through that, especially alone, because your partner at the time wasn't in the picture, basically. And for you to go through the folders and be like, okay, I have to do this, and then the day that he was born, you just like, no, I have to separate my feelings from what's going on right now. I think it's very inspiring for other people even that are going or are going to go through the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing that.
I have very, very good friends that are close like family. So the sister of someone that she's a good close friend. So she was there she was the one looking through all the folders. So, but, and I lived with, our mutual friend.
Yeah.
Through that pregnancy and through, the adoption and stuff. So, I mean, I had a really good support group. And I still do, they never went away,
Right.
But, I don't know. I mean, it was hard, but it wasn't at the same time. I know it sounds funny, but like, it's hard, obviously. Like, it's my kid, I gave birth and went through all that. But, I mean, I've said it a few times now, like I felt like he was always meant for them. So it was more of like this wonderful thing that I get to do, that I get to be a part of, and then being able to stay close to them, wasn't as hard as, maybe it might be for the next guy, or, that it could have been, right. But I also had my daughter, which was also a huge thing, because I had her to love on and to be loved by,
Yeah.
So it definitely was a different situation than other people I know that have kind of made the same decision or found themselves in that position to make that decision. So,
Yeah. No, but like I said, it's a fascinating story. But yeah, I've seen you guys as, hanging out, and just the interaction between you and his parents are great. like you guys are like close and friends and stuff like that. And that's one of the things that actually captivated me with like talking to you more and get to know you a little bit more, because I think even though it was a really hard decision for you to make, I think it was the right one for you and him. And you know, even though like you have to go through all the files and stuff, but I think you chose a really good family for him, and he's very happy, and you know, you guys hang out all the time and stuff. I mean, now with the quarantine it's kind of hard, right? Because we're all home in quarantine, but
Yeah.
yeah, but I know when you can, you contact them and stuff like that. That's really good for you. And then
Yeah.
when this baby came
Right.
along, when would that happen? Like, how did
Oh,
you get to meet your new partner and stuff? Like, it's a really nice story as well.
oh, it is it a nice story? It's a
I
bit
think
of a
it's
complicated one.
I think it's just a funny kind of story, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, are we being like totally candid, or is it just kind of like give the tasteful version of it? You know? Well, I mean, I met him at a, you know, daycare center, and you know, drama, but you know, we became friends after months and months of taking pretend breaks to avoid him because
Yep.
he was that guy.
Yep.
But you know, we became friends, and after becoming friends, it was, you know, his marriage went down the tubes, and it was already in the tubes, and it was a bad one, you know. So once it was kind of like they were done, it that it almost pushed us to get to know each other romantically, and it did, and it like kind of took off and blew up, and now we have a kid years
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. He's a
Drama's
pretty.
still there, but you know,
Yeah.
we have a kid, and he's got his son, and I've got my daughter, and we have a son together. So it is, what do they call that? Like a mesh family or a blended family.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but it's good that you guys, you know, at least kept together and stuff, and now you have a kid, and he's wonderful. I mean, he's such a cute boy, and my little panda.
You were talking about the dad. I was like, what?
No, not the dad. Although I like him as well, but not the dad. I learned how to like him. That's more likely. He's like,
Anyone.
right. Um. Anyways, yeah. So we talked a little bit about the pandemic, but like we used to hang out pretty much every day, me and you, before this quarantine started. And it's funny, I still remember the day that we went to the shops together. I think it was, I don't remember if it was Trader Joe's or something. And then I told you like, hey, look at this two guys just with their cars packed full of shit. And it was just like, look at this. And you're like, what was that? I was like, well, quarantine, girl, it's gonna happen. And
Yeah.
sure enough, it happened, you know. And I was very worried in the beginning. Like, I don't know how it affected you, but like for me, like in the beginning, he got me, especially the third week that I was isolated from everybody, you know, because I used to like you, I'm never home. So I used to go out with you or other friends and stuff like that. And yeah, the third week, man, I cried. Like it was really, really hard for me to face this truth that we're gonna live and gonna be living with. And so my husband was the one who kind of supported me. He's like, no, just get over it, it's gonna be fine and stuff like that. And then it calmed me down, and then I start seeing more friends, and I start seeing you. Now it's a little bit better. Like we, you know, we kind of see each other here and there with all, you know, sanitizing and all the precautions that we have to have. But it now it's good, but how did that affected you, like in the very beginning when you are like had to be locked down and not see anybody?
It was Costco. We were Costco because I bought Costco's last bottle of sanitizer before it went crazy.
That's right. That's right.
And then for 2 months, we couldn't find toilet paper or paper towel. And it was like, it was crazy. And so, we would look out and, we would be walking around, and because we just go on little, walks around the neighborhood and stuff, but we're right, close to a lot of shops, and we'd see people walking out with toilet paper. We're like, what? And we'd book it. Like, we need toilet paper. Luckily, they never sold out of Cottonelle wipes. And I love me some wet wipes.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I didn't freak out because I was like, oh, this is just going to pass. It's fine. I mean, I follow the rules. But I was like, no, this isn't going to. These people are just being crazy. I don't need to go shop. I don't need to buy stuff. And then it blew up, and I was like, oh, crap. I wish I just got some toilet paper. Damn. So, I mean, we got masks, and, I mean, the other little is, he was wearing masks long before the, huh? Okay. I'll be right there. A poopy diaper.
Oh, there you go.
So, he was wearing masks before because he was sick for 6 weeks because mom doesn't take care of him. Didn't want to take him to a doctor. We took him to a doctor, and it was, allergy/cold flu season. And I mean, if we're being honest here, I think he probably either had it or carried it at least. I mean, being sick for 6 weeks and every symptom was congestion, sneezing, hard to breathe. He had to use his emergency inhaler, tummy ache, body ache, his poops were weird. And then and this is before the whole, virus blew up, but it traveled to, me and my partner and my daughter, the whole house got it. And he got the newborn sick, and he was only a few weeks old. So by the time he was, 2 months old, he'd already been sick twice.
Right.
Which on one hand, well, great. He got germs, he's building his immune system. But on the other hand, like, holy shit, he's 2 months, So he knew what it was to wear a mask and to wash hands and sanitize. And me, I'm like, I have sanitizer on me all the time.
Yeah.
But, it was like, we go out, we'd have our masks on and stuff, and, celebrate when we could find toilet paper and whatever. And then it just became normal. I mean, for my partner, that's heaven to him. If he didn't have to be around people or do anything outside the house, he'd be excited.
Right.
He does it because he knows that it's important to me, and, he cares about me, and he wants to be with the kids. So,
Yeah.
And not that he doesn't enjoy the people that he knows, like you guys, but, if he never had to go to a party or have a party in his home, he'd be okay.
Yeah.
So this, like I said, is probably heaven for him because he gets to be home.
Right.
So, but, I mean, we found ways around it. It's like I would do curbside, with our friend, in South County, and I'd park on the curb in my car, and she'd be sitting in a chair at her front door, which is well beyond a 6 foot, distance. Yeah. And we'd talk through the window.
Right.
There were times when it was a rainy day and we both were just like, so we would both get in our cars and go find somewhere to park. And then we would use Instagram video. And so like this, we're we're looking at each other's faces and we're talking, but we're in our own cars.
Oh my God.
So we found ways around it. I mean, it wasn't normal and couldn't like hug or high five or anything, but it was nice to have that interaction. It was nice to not be in the house,
Yeah.
you know me, I drive everywhere. So it's like, you know, if I get an itch to be out of this house, like, boom, we just get in the car and go drive up and down the coast. You know, thankfully, some places were open for at least, you know, takeout or something. So I could drive through and get a coffee or something and feel somewhat normal, you know?
Yeah.
So it didn't feel as bad as I know it has for some people, which is nice.
Right. Yeah, it
And
does affect people, you know, in
I'm
several
sorry,
ways.
while I'm talking to you.
Okay. But I mean, for me, it was like emotional wise, was kind of hard. Um, but oh, baby's crying.
No, you can stay here.
And
Diaper, wipes. Look at this. Why don't you just go to sleep then?
oh, poor baby.
He's like, I've been forced to listen to the Gangnam Style song with my sister.
I mean, it's a pretty funny one, but
Hey, you baby.
yeah, it's funny you mentioned that you know, he found ways to like get out of the house and even see people from a distance and stuff. Like I didn't have the courage. I was too much into my bubble and like just talking to people through, you know, just text messaging and voice messaging and stuff, but not like encounter my friends or anything like that. Like I used to go for walks, and we still do. We go for walks around the neighborhood. I take them to the park now. Parks are open here. Um, the pool's closed, but the parks are open.
Ours is open.
Huh?
Ours is open.
Yeah, see, there's some locations that they do open the pools and some others they don't. For me, it's kind of hard because I don't really like to go to the pool or the beach, but I mean, it will be kind of nice to
You and the beach.
to go. Yeah. I just hate sand. I hate sand in my body. And my kid loves it, so it's really hard for me to, you know, not say no to him, because I'm like, just because I don't like it, you know, I have to adjust and adapt to whatever he likes. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. Um and it was also hard for me, like, because I just started my dog training business this year. And it's hard because, you know, I had some clients in the beginning and it was going really nicely. And then the pandemic hit and everybody just stayed home, and I had to cancel all my clients that I had for the following weeks. And it was hard because since I'm self-employed, I had no money coming in and stuff like that. Not that I, you know, can't live with the money that I have, but it's hard because sometimes, you know, you're counting on having that money to pay your bills, and then you don't have it, you know. And I mean, it was hard in the beginning because I felt like, okay, this is picking up and I'm doing some work with dogs and stuff, and it's going really well. But and then I had to stop, and I was like, oh God, what am I doing with my life? Now it's starting again. It's picking up again. Now people are a little bit more, I'm not gonna say laid back, but kinda. You know, they're okay that I use a mask and I sanitize myself at all times. And you know, there's people that say, oh, you don't need to use a mask with me. And I'm like, no, this is why I need to use a mask around you. Because when you say you don't need to use a mask around me, maybe you say that to other people. And who knows, right? Turns out that person's husband has some friends in his office that has COVID. So I had to cancel again with her. Because I mean, I know this virus will be here probably forever. And, you know, I think even if we get a vaccine, it's not going to be the solution. Same thing with the flu. But if I can prevent myself and my family from getting it, then I will, you know. And I think this is the thing I have to keep in mind. But yeah, that's, I mean, that's just the way it is. Um, cool. I have one last question, Lynn. So the last question I have, it will be for all the guests that I will have in this podcast, and hopefully everybody comes up with funny and or nice even uh, answers to this. But I will call it the 3-lesson question, and it's so I'll ask you, and you can reply. What are the 3 lessons in life that you want to pass on to your kids?
Oh, yeah. Way to not have an easy one there. I know we joked about this the other day,
Yeah.
but that was just joking around, you know?
Yeah. I was like, please don't say that. Like, come on.
I mean, that's a hard question because there's so many lessons that sometimes it pops up and you're like, oh, and you start going with it. So like the things that I've tried to thus far is how to be strong and confident and stand up for yourself and have a voice. And another thing is being very open and communicative with her so that she's open and communicative with me, because I don't want one day something to happen and she doesn't feel safe or comfortable coming to me and being like, hey, guess what, this thing happened, or I did this, or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing, I don't know, I mean, adventure, ask questions, wander, go places, try new things, those are probably the 3 main things that I've really, from the get-go, from beginning till now, have really tried to, work on and instill with my daughter.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so many other, lessons in between, be clean, wash your hands, don't ever touch anything, smell things first. Anything with poop goes in the trash. I can't even count how many pairs of shoes she has watched go in the rubbish because there's doo-doo on it. You don't come to. I wore 2 pairs of gloves when I changed her poopy diapers. I'm better now.
Yep.
But, but I think those would probably be my 3 main ones.
Yeah. I mean, that I always, 3 lessons is like kind of a short window, because like we probably have so many more, but I think like this question kind of nails down like the basic, like the more, the ones that you want to like pass on the most, you know what I mean? Like it's just, it nails it down into like just the 3 ones that you really want to do it. And obviously we'll have more people answering this question hopefully, and we'll probably hear a lot of lessons that we probably don't agree with, and others that we do agree with the most, right? So it's going to be interesting to know a lot more other people and what do they say and stuff like that. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool. Awesome. Lynn, I think we're done. I think this is it was a really nice story that we're gonna pass on to our listeners, and hopefully people will like what we talked about, and we'll probably have more, and maybe you'll come back. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Great. Coolio. Alrighty. I will be updating you guys on other episodes, but for now we're gonna do weekly and see how it goes. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.